Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today, I have with us the team behind. Listen, they got several movies out right now. One right now that's in pre-production, and there's an Indiegogo out right now, and it's called The Last Sleepover. The other movie is going to be coming out this year, so look out for that one. It's called The Art of Killing. And swing your asses over to Tubi, Amazon Prime, wherever you want to watch movies, and also check out The Town Without Halloween. I have with us Gregory Brock and Austin Rutherford. Gregory, awesome. Welcome to the Horror Realm.
Thanks for having us. Really enjoying this.
It's a pleasure, guys. Pleasure. All right. So first of all, let's start off with The Last Sleepover. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, The Last Sleepover basically is kind of Mean Girls meets I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very female-centric, female-centered. And I think we have a pretty cool killer look, too. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that, and especially her weapon. So
nice.
Yeah, but it takes place 20 years after a high school prank that went horribly wrong. A group of women reunite at an Airbnb after their class reunion. Once inseparable as members of the exclusive clique called the Pastels, they now find themselves haunted by their dark past, and an unknown killer begins killing them off and stalking them.
Now, I don't know about you guys. I love a good revenge horror film.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what gave you inspiration for the idea of this film?
This film I actually had in my head for about 10 years. Watching movies like The Burning and I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream. I'm a big whodunit fan. So, and this one's just kind of been brewing for about 10 years in my head. And then finally we put pen to paper and actually got it written. And that's where we're at now.
Yeah, and Greg and I are both actually very big, Wes Craven and Scream fans, and so I had met Greg about a year and a half ago, and we had worked together, on The Town Without Halloween, and then, as probably with most filmmakers, like once you finish your project and get it out, it's always a question of what are we going to do next, and Greg has a list of about 4 million things that he wants to do, but he had this one kind of looming around in his mind, and he said, hey, I'm kind of interested in maybe doing this one, and he asked me if I would help, and once he kind of told me the idea for it, we kind of seen a lot of, similarities to Scream and things, and we said, well, why don't we just kind of make this like our love letter to those types of movies, so I ended up kind of coming in and helping him write it. And we knocked the script out in a couple weeks, and now we're in full blown, pre-production, going through the casting process, getting the Indiegogo campaign ready to go, and getting ready to knock it out. So it's been very cool.
And by the way, the Indiegogo goes live tomorrow, everyone. So definitely check out. The link is down in the description too. So definitely support The Last Sleepover. Now, I do have a question. So it seems like if I grew up in the '80s, born in the '80s, and the golden age of horror, and it seems like now there's more and more women killers and villains in horror movies. And why do you think that's something that's becoming prevalent now?
I think the biggest thing is the platform is starting to open up a lot more for those types of killers. I think people are wanting a different type of killer than what they're used to. And I think, bringing in female killers really opens up the doors and gives somebody a little something different in that case.
Because I think in real life, I think a woman would get away with murdering people quicker than a man. Because, you think about it right now, if you found 5 bodies dead in the house, you would think a man did it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's automatically where your mind's going to go.
It's a good point.
It is. Absolutely.
So when it came to selecting the cast for this movie, did you already have actresses in mind, or?
We had the breakdowns for each character, and because each member of the Pastels, they wear their own color of pastel. That's how they developed that in high school, and So we already kind of had a personality for each of the characters, and we just found some. We went through the auditions and found the actors that really fit those the most, and that portrayed it the most in their audition. We did have a couple already cast from the get go, like the main two. Two of the main two, and we do have a celebrity coming in too, which we'll be able to announce. Also, in the Indiegogo campaign, we'll be announcing.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Now, Austin, how amazing is it to have a awesome team to bounce ideas off when it comes to making indie horror films?
Absolutely, yeah. There a lot of times it is a collaboration. I couldn't do it all myself. There's no way. Especially making sure that we have, because where it's a whodunit, we have to think about every possible scenario to put the spotlight on who could be the killer in this case.
Yeah, and we, it's such a weird thing because I've been involved with helping. I've been making films for over 15 years now, or helping people with their films, and Greg's sort of been on the same trajectory, probably even longer than I have. But Greg and I actually live like 5 minutes away from each other,
Oh,
and
nice.
I didn't even know that he existed until like 2 years ago, and we just so happened to kind of connect, and I feel like he's kind of like family to me now,
Absolutely.
and so
That's it.
Greg and I have a really good like kind of working like creative sort of relationship, like we're really good at sort of bouncing ideas off of each other, and same with Jacob, who couldn't be with us tonight, but we all three just jive really well, and there's no egos or anything that comes into play. Like everyone's just sort of like minded and has the same goal in mind, to try to make our films and our projects the best that we can possibly make them. And so, it's good to have people that you can work with and get along well with, because it definitely makes the collaboration side a lot more enjoyable. And we also just have a really good team for the last sleepover. I'm sure that we'll probably be doing some, crew announcements a little down the road
Yeah.
as well. But
Yeah, we've already announced PJ Starks, who directed New Fear's Eve.
yeah,
He's on board with us. Of course, Jacob, he's a producer on it. Heath Coppage, who is our executive producer, he helps us get a lot of stuff done. And then we have Jake C. Young, who did Daylight to Dark, and he's doing a bunch of other films in that realm.
and he also has another film on. I think it's available on Tubi called The Dark Room as well that he did.
Yep.
Nice. Now, one thing about who done it horror films is the killer. Because you want to keep that, you want to have the audience engage, and then surprise them at the end where they're like, "Oh my god!" And when it's done right is amazing. But we do like Scream 6, where
Yeah.
during the whole time movie, I was like, "Oh, that's the killer," but it can't be the killer. And I got to the end, like, "Fuck, this was a perfect horror movie."
Yeah.
Up until the reveal of the killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how do you keep that surprise up in a whodunit horror movie?
Yeah, the biggest thing is misdirects. You have to have a lot of misdirects. You got to have your red herring, somebody that everybody's going to say, "Hey, that's a killer. I know it's a killer." And we like to have several of those in our film, especially this one. With this project, we really thought long and hard, because all of us are pretty well versed in our whodunit films and so forth. So we wanted to do something completely different that we had never seen before, and I really think that we've accomplished that with this.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's an ending I don't think a lot of people are going to see coming.
Because as we were writing, the script, we were bouncing all these ideas off of each other, and we knew that more so than anything that the ending would have to be something that would stand out and be unique, to where it wouldn't just get sort of added into all the other whodunits before it. And So, we were throwing these ideas back and forth, and then we sort of landed on this one, and we both kind of looked at each other, and then we started racking our brains, and we're like, I don't think anyone's did that like that before. And so that's kind of the one that we're going with, and we're hoping that, maybe that'll resonate well with the audience, and that it'll
Yeah.
kind of
Another
surprise
thing
me.
we're doing, yeah, absolutely. Another thing we're doing with the cast is they're only getting the first 2 acts, so even the cast they won't know who the killer is until we're shooting the third act. So it's going to be kind of a Wes Craven approach to
Yeah.
that regard. And actually, Sleepaway Camp also did the same thing. Also,
Great movie, Sleepaway Camp. I
oh,
love it.
absolutely, sure
I love
is.
it. Now, and you guys are starting in Indiegogo crowdfunding
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Mhm.
Right now, I mean, I heard like the success rate when it comes to crowdfunding is like at all time low right now.
Mhm.
What are some strategies as a filmmaker that you're going to use or you've used in the past to have a successful crowdfunding?
Yeah, we've done it in the past. The biggest thing is having your base already to let people know. Have an email contact list is one of the most important to let them know ahead of time. That way, they know to look out for it and let them know exactly what we're offering. Not just something that anybody could get. We want this to be very exclusive with our perks and just really give them the opportunity to be a part of something that I think they're going to remember for a long time.
So, would you like to give everyone the exclusive right now since we're a day away on some awesome perks?
Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to have perks. We're going to have, of course, acting in the film. We have those perks. We do have, you want to go over some too there, Austin?
Yes,
Okay.
we're gonna do like we're gonna do where a person can have an opportunity to act in the film. We're gonna have a few of those perks available. We're gonna have sort of the standard stuff, that most have, where you can get a Blu-ray or a DVD of the finished movie. But then we're also gonna have we're going to have some perks available to where you can have your face featured in the film. We can have your voice featured in the film. We're going to kind of add in some parts where someone could record a voiceover and it be included or incorporated into the film somehow. We do have like a party scene that's going to kind of have a lot of people in it and going to be kind of like a big elaborate thing. Um, within the context of the movie, and so we're thinking about maybe trying to have some kind of like have your band featured in the film.
Oh, sweet.
To where like if a band wanted to claim the perk or something, they could come out and be on screen and have their song featured. And we're also just trying to come up with some kind of maybe clever, unique like bundling ideas where you could maybe get like a replica mask and a Blu-ray combo or something like that. That particular one's not really set in stone, but we're just thinking of stuff, trying to think of things that are unique and things that people as a consumer and as a viewer of the movie would be interested in. Um, and that's kind of just the mentality that we have going into this whole thing.
Where will you be shooting the movie?
We'll actually be shooting in New Albany, Indiana, and also Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the Midwest,
Yep. Midwest. Yep.
All right. So let's shoot over. So listen, there's another movie which is called The Art of Killing. By the way, I love the fucking poster as is Bob Ross.
Thank you. Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, I love it. So, and I love the title, The Art of Killing. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So it is basically, TV personality Leland Moss, who is, just like Bob Ross. He hosts Painting with Friends, which is his public access show that he, teaches people to paint and so forth. He has a personality. He's a very friendly person, but he does have dark secrets. Whereas he's going off killing people and kind of showing his locations in a lot of his paintings and so forth. And he also has other dark secrets, which will be revealed. We haven't revealed too much about that yet, but it's pretty dark on the reason he's doing this, and I think it really sets it apart as far as that goes. And basically, a group of fans end up winning a chance to meet him and to watch a live taping, and it doesn't go well for them. They pretty much interrupt his show, and he doesn't like that. So
I,
he's pretty brutal.
so how do you guys keep pumping out these ideas? I mean,
um, yeah, a lot of times it comes to me at like 3 o'clock in the morning, or if I'm in the restroom or something, it just hits me in the head like a ton of bricks, and I just have to. I've got probably at least 60, 70 ideas on our spreadsheet that we've got
Yeah.
accumulating. And
And that's kind of the thing too, is like Greg has this running spreadsheet of just ideas that he's came up with for, projects over the years. And so pretty much just anytime we work on one, we work on one and focus on that one project and get it, secured and out, and then we just look through the list sometimes for inspiration and figure out what to do next.
yeah,
But
between
it's,
me, Austin, and Jacob, like
yeah,
we just
but it's really never ending because even though we have this sort of list, it's like we all end up coming up with 40 billion more ideas in the middle of doing one. So the creative juices definitely feel like they're flowing well at the moment.
now, is there a off the wall crazy fucking idea that you guys came up with? You're like, nah, the world's not ready for this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's actually vicious vanity is one. It's pretty intense, and it's another female killer. But it's a very very dramatic horror film, and it's something that's really going to get people thinking. What is this girl going through? Why is she doing what she's doing? And there's a big reason behind that. So it's called Vicious Vanity. That's one that me and Jacob actually wrote, and it originally was titled Savage Beauty, and then it it kind of fit it more, especially with the vain parents of this girl. So Vicious Vanity is what we stuck on.
Now, I'm a huge people watcher when I'm in public. Is this something that you guys do to get inspiration
Oh
as
yeah,
well?
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, definitely,
I
definitely.
love going into the mall. Like we'll get a lot of the dialogue. You just going into the mall and listen to conversations, and
Yeah.
just seeing how people talk. I also get on Urban Dictionary and see how especially if we're doing a film with teens, we get
Hmm.
on there just so we know exactly how they're talking and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that at least with me personally, like usually a lot of the things that I contribute, like writing wise, are just things that I've just experienced in my own life. I'm a big like big dark comedy kind of guy. Like I love the horror movie stuff, but I love the quirkiness of dark comedy, and so like I just feel like I've had really weird luck in the course of my lifetime, and so more times than not, like some of the scenarios that I come up with are just things that I've experienced firsthand. But yeah, we definitely like pull from just watching people and seeing things because see some interesting stuff sometimes.
Oh yeah, especially being on sets and seeing people and everything. It gets pretty funny.
Yeah, and I think that probably with the last sleepover too, to some degree, that we've some of the things I guess are probably kind of based off of people that we know to an extent. I mean, some of the ways that people act. So
Yeah,
just a lot of different places to draw inspiration from.
yeah,
Because like if you just look in the world and just like, because I'm one of the people I go out in public, I start making up stories about people and what they do for a living, what their relationship status is,
yeah.
and those are your best characters right there.
Oh
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
I'm listen. Normally, I do this at the end of the show, but I'm going to do this midway through the interview. I'm going to ask each one of you a random horror question. This is a personal one.
Okay. Right.
All right. Also, I'm going to start off with you.
Okay.
What is one horror movie that is completely underrated that most people don't give its just due or credit?
Man, that's a tough one. Greg can vouch. I'm very. I'll watch just about any horror movie that there is. I'm very big on like monster movies. I'm all about like sci-fi B movies. I've made Greg suffer through a few of them. But one that I think, just right off the top of my head, that I think is probably sort of underrated. It is a movie that kind of slid under the radar, and I think it came out maybe in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. But it's called Found, and basically the premise of this movie it is told from the point of view of a young boy who basically is hanging out with one of his buddies at home, and he decides to sneak into his brother's room and kind of rummage through his things or whatever. And he just so happens to find a bowling bag that contains a decapitated head. And you pretty much realize that this young boy's older brother is a serial killer, and he basically, like, no one knows he's a serial killer except for this kid. And so it's sort of this emotional journey of sort of this coming of age story, but also like how this kid copes with the fact that his older brother and his protector is a serial killer. And I don't know, like it was weird because like I had never heard of it, but I actually found it in like a $2 movie bin at like a Big Lots.
Oh, wow.
And I just bought it because I'm all about just sort of obscure movies or whatever, and I just bought it and I watched it, and like I was just thinking to myself, like, man, like how do people not like know about this movie? Like, and I don't think it even came out in theaters or anything. Like I think it was just like because it's an indie movie, but I think it came out just like straight to DVD. Like I think that I think one of those sort of wasn't dark. I don't remember what the distributor was, but it was one of those that sort of do like a lot of those releases, sort of like those 8 films to die for. Like it's kind of one of those deals where it was just like part of I guess a series of releases of like horror movies. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with Found, and it's just really like. It's really kind of gory too. Like the director of the film actually done a prior film called Headless, and it's a very gory movie, probably right up there with the Terrifier movies, honestly.
Wow.
But so since that director directed that movie, he kind of includes snippets of Headless in Found, because they're watching like the VHS tape. So I would say check it out.
Okay. Right. And Greg, the question I have for you is: have you seen the Serbian film?
I have not. I've heard about it.
Okay.
I kind of know the premise. I've never watched it.
You watch it.
I've
I haven't
only
watched it either.
Yeah,
Everybody said I should.
I've been told that too. Then I said, then I've heard, don't ever watch it again if you do
Yes.
watch it.
I hear it's like a movie that really fucking sticks with you.
Yeah,
And like,
I've heard that.
and I have like you can find the edited version everywhere, but the uncut version. Someone sent me a link of it like on a Google Drive, and like months ago. And every time I get ready to click on it, and I'm like, nah, I'm not ready yet. Yeah,
I'm not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure eventually I'll see it. It's just as of right now, I'm like, do I really want to see it? Or,
yeah.
but ultimately, I'm going to end up seeing it. I'd say me and Austin will probably watch it at some point.
Oh yeah, we'll have to add it to the list now.
Yeah, for sure.
I could recommend if you want a fucked up movie too. It's called Darius. You can only find it on DVD. I interviewed what's called it. Darius is pretty fucked up. But I
Oh,
hear, yeah, it's pretty fucked
I'll
up.
write that down actually.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty fucked up. But it's not even bloody gore. It's just other stuff fucked up.
Right.
The
For
level.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So listen, you got a movie also streaming up on Tubi right now. Probably going to do a Tubi Tuesday movie review of it. It's called The Town Without Halloween. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, The Town Without Halloween. It's basically, I would say, Gremlins meets Goonies. So
That's
it's
good.
yeah, it's teen. It's more geared toward teens, which is kind of outside our norm. It does have horror elements in it, um, and it's basically about this mayor. He ends up finding out this secret about the spirit of Halloween, and he sends his little minion creatures to go out and search for it. And basically, it comes down to these teens that unlock what his plan actually is, and they vow to stop him from it. And,
Yeah, he's basically trying to abolish Halloween altogether. Like this town that is represented in the movie, it's called Moss, and pretty
same
much,
name spelled backwards.
yeah. But yeah, so he's pretty much just it's a town that's very prideful in their love of Halloween. Like they always go all out every year. They have a big, festival, carnival, whatever. And once the mayor sort of hatches his evil plan, he decides that he's going to just do away with it altogether. And so all the adults are sort of brainwashed. Like they kind of don't really see the harm in anything, but these kids realize early on that there's something kind of fishy, and so they're pretty much just trying to kind of race and keep it from happening and trying to kind of restore the balance. One thing that I'm very proud of with the town of that Halloween, and we were talking about sort of those '80s horror movies and things like with the Who Done It, but another thing kind of going back to the films of the '80s is that all of the monsters and everything in the town of that Halloween are practical. We get all practical effects throughout the movie, and so all of the monsters are puppets that we puppeteered. All of the it's not a gory movie by any means because it is targeted towards teens, and so it's like there's no gore, but there's a lot of kind of slime and other different little things, and like all of that's practical. And that's been I'm very proud of it as a whole, but then it's kind of like that's been a lot of what people have sort of commented on since the film's been released is just like how cool it is that it's all practical and that we didn't just throw a bunch of CGI in there. So I think it definitely feels unique.
One topic, but off topic. Do you think CGI has kind of fucked
Gotten
up the
worse.
way? Yeah, has kind of fucked up the way we watch movies now.
Yeah, I think it has. Now, if you're using it lightly, like if you're not actually going out to make a CGI film, I think if you just use it along with practical effects, I think it can be very effective. But I think a lot of it really started with what was the Avatar, with the way they did the 3D and that, and you could tell that it's CGI, but it is getting a little better as far as now. Also adding in AI, which is really starting to rear its head, and I think it can be also, you know, in your tool belt as far as that goes. But I think CGI though, it definitely. I mean, you could tell that it's unrealistic in a lot of times, but I think that it can be effective if used with practical also.
The common thing that I seem to have noticed sort of with CGI, today is that more times than not, you see a movie that's very, relies very heavily on CGI, and there's not a thing at all wrong with that because, whatever you can do to enhance it. But the common thing that I seem to notice and that I've heard, over time is that it's sort of like, it seems to be a thing where like studios sometimes will want a really big CGI heavy movie, but then it's sort of like the deadlines don't give the CGI artists like the time to really do it the way that they need to. A lot of times these bigger ones are rushed, and the people who are working on it and doing the effects and things don't really have the time to kind of polish it the way that they would want or need to. And I think that that's kind of why we're seeing a flux of like, maybe why some CGI and newer stuff doesn't look as good because it kind of almost isn't fully realized. I hear a lot of people all the time talking about how like films in the early 2000s, like you look at like the pirate, like Davy Jones and the Pirates of the Caribbean films. You look at the movie District 9, where the guy turns into the alien at the end. I mean, that's some of the best, most realistic CGI that you would see. But then it's like in newer movies today, you don't see that as much, just because I think that there's this thing where people just don't have the time. They're not given enough time to really craft it the way that they want. And so I think that that's kind of why we're sort of like have a bad taste these days because of it.
Yeah, because especially like in the big budget horror films, like they
Yeah.
are relying on CGI blood heavily,
Yeah.
and it looks bad.
Does. Yeah.
Looks
Yeah,
really
you
bad.
can tell that it's fake, and that it's CGI. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. All right. So listen, I'm gonna jump over to the last question I'm gonna ask you guys, and it's once again personal opinion.
Yeah.
Greg, I'm gonna start with you first.
Okay.
What is one horror movie that everybody loves that you're like, I don't get it.
That would be Cabin Fever. A lot of people are
People
like,
love that movie. Okay, I'm sorry.
apparently, but I'm watching. I'm like, I don't see what the appeal is for everybody. I can't say everybody, obviously, but like Jacob, like he's a huge Cabin Fever fan, and he
I'm guilty, admittedly. I like it. I mean, for what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't resonate with me. I think I even probably turned it off within like the first 20 minutes of it.
Well, that's why you don't like it, because you haven't watched it. I mean, come on.
I watched it in parts, but the first part I turned it off.
Austin, I'm gonna ask you a controversial question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Who do you think is an overrated filmmaker that everybody loves?
Oh man, that's tough. Gosh, I'll have to think on that one for a second. An overrated filmmaker that everybody loves that I don't.
Yeah, or I'm saying you don't, but you don't see why everybody goes crazy.
Don't see why everybody goes crazy over it. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I watch a lot of movies, a lot of horror movies. That's hard.
Before Thanksgiving, yeah, I would have said Eli Roth, but after Thanksgiving, like
man, you're just tearing up. You just do not like Cabin Fever at all.
I don't. I didn't like a lot of it. I didn't like the hospital movies.
Cabin Fever hate club over here.
I didn't like the hospital movies, but Thanksgiving came out. I'm like, okay, he's good in my book.
I'm gonna say mine, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose a lot of subscribers. Dario Argento. I don't understand. I don't understand why people. Because I interview filmmakers. So who's your favorite filmmaker? Dario Argento. Every single Argento. I'm like, okay, and I've seen a couple of his movies, not saying he's a bad filmmaker, but I don't see why so many people
Right.
say he's the greatest filmmaker, horror filmmaker ever.
Right.
I would say probably Ari Aster for me. He did Hereditary and Beau is Afraid and a few other
Midsummer.
movies. Midsummer. Not knocking him personally, not knocking A24. It's just like, now that I kind of think about it, like a lot of his movies, I just don't really. I think they have their audience. I think that they have, their people who love them or whatever. But at least with my own personal taste, like I have a hard time kind of relating to them in a way. Like I don't. I guess just overall, I don't really see. I don't see the vision. You know what I mean?
I have to agree with that one.
Like I don't. A lot of them just don't really hit for me. So I would
A
say
lot of
probably.
people do like it. A lot of people do
Yeah,
like it.
I mean, and that's fine. I mean, that's what's cool about people having their own brain and whatever is that you can think and feel what you want. But at least me personally, I don't really get them.
See, I love Midsummer, but I don't understand the hype behind Hereditary.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more so like I didn't mind Midsummer. I don't know that I loved it, but I at least I found parts of it that I liked. But yeah, Hereditary, I did not get the hype at all.
Yeah. All right, Greg, where can everyone find you, my friend?
I'm actually on Facebook, Gregory W. Brock. The Last Sleepover is also, we have a page for it. We have a page for The Town Without Halloween. Just search for The Town Without Halloween. The Art of Killing is also a page on Facebook. And I'm also on Instagram at Gregory W. Brock.
Austin?
So I'm on Facebook under Austin Rutherford. I also have a production moniker of my own outside of Candy Carnage that I run and operate called Wicked Vision Productions, and so it's just listed as Wicked Vision Productions on Facebook as well. It's a like page, and then I'm on Instagram under Movie Dude 44.
Sweet. Listen, everybody, get over to Tubi and check out The Town Without Halloween. Also, to go to the description and also support The Last Sleepovers Indiegogo paid crowdfunding, as well as look out for The Art of Killing, which sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think people are really going to enjoy it, and they're gonna be really surprised with that one.
I'm looking forward to seeing all of your work.
Uh,
Austin, Greg, thanks for coming on, man. Listen, you guys are more than welcome to come on anytime.
Sounds great. We
Thanks for
really
having us.
appreciate
Really
it. We
appreciate
enjoyed it.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and we'll see you next time. Take care.